melee weapons, for when lead and gunpowder isn't personal enough. Fallout New Vegas is a game about choices. You can choose to side with the NCR, Caesar's Legion, or, if you're like me, you can choose to ignore all of that and see how far you can get by running at men with guns while you're holding a glorified chainsaw. I decided that bullets are for cowards and that the true path to peace in the Mojave is carving through it like a discount Gordon Ramsay with anger issues. Could I have used guns? Sure. Could I have used explosives? Absolutely. But instead, I chose to slowly slap death claws with a glorified weed whacker for 90 minutes because I have poor decision-making skills and a deep hatred for myself. So I asked the question no one needed answered. Can you beat Fallout New Vegas using only melee weapons? Without permanently damaging what's left of your sanity? Let's find out. This series is, of course, a tribute to Paul of Mitten Squad, my favorite YouTuber and the reason I picked up a mic. I started making these videos because I missed him. In fact, I frequently binge watch his videos still, almost like some people would watch a comfort show. This one's for you, Paul. Now this is where the real game begins. I chose the name Stabby Cunt because I'm as subtle as a whisper from a guy holding a chainsaw with no pants on. As you can see, I tried to use the machete to see if it would count the damage. It did not, so obviously we're still counting this as being able to complete the game. We're going to have to do this every time.
We'll keep that.
Things got a little heated in the saloon, so I pulled out a cleaver. Sunny Smiles caught some friendly fire, and suddenly I'm the villain. So I waited until the real fight.
Hey there.
Where I chopped his head off like a birthday candle. The town loved me. Guess murder's fine as long as it's scheduled. They called me a hero. I guess if you stick the landing, they forget the warm-up. After the battle, I spent a deeply uncomfortable amount of time dragging Joe Cobb's body, and a few others onto the store porch, and then the saloon. Not for strategy, just for aesthetics. Some decorate with flowers. I use heads and severed body parts instead. Oh, Malcolm Holmes.
Hello there. It's good to see a friendly face.
He ran up on me while I was sleeping. Big mistake, Malcolm.
Don't suppose you'd care to trade.
So I grabbed my machete and introduced him to the consequences of poor timing. After helping myself to his inventory, I went to take that nap I much needed. Since I don't like to waste anything, I went ahead and grabbed the body. Fallout is a game of friendship, because nothing says post-apocalyptic hospitality like using a corpse like a body pillow. Also, it's not weird if nobody sees it. Prim was in chaos, so I did what any sensible meat enthusiast with a machete would do. I turned every convict into freshly grated taco meat, and then freed Deputy Beagle, the only man who sounds like he's being tickled while explaining a hostage crisis. After freeing him, he immediately thanked me by running into danger and then giving me a quest he was too cowardly to do himself. Hero of the year, folks. Before I could help Prim any further, I took a slight detour, and by slight I mean I walked to Novak with the speed and grace of a drunk Brahmin to buy the Ripper. The Ripper sounds cool until you realize it's just an angry electric turkey carver on meth. The Ripper's great for slicing enemies, dicing limbs, and accidentally carving your reputation into the floor. With my newfound toy in hand, I took a second to discover gun runners, because we were going to be there a lot in this run. With my new vibrating butter knife secured, I made a quick stop back in Good Springs to visit my corpse art installation, formerly titled The Cobb Job, only to discover a tragedy. Someone had stolen all the bodies from my masterpiece, leaving only Joe Cobb sitting on there like a rotting cherry on top of a war crime sundae. What kind of sick fuck steals 4 bodies anyway? This is why we can't have nice things in the Mojave. Back in Prim, I realized Beagle had the spine of a damp noodle, so I headed to the NCR Correctional Facility to recruit a real sheriff. Enter Myers, ex-lawman, reformed inmate, and fortunately, a man who got caught in the Ripper's backswing. That's right, I freed Myers and then accidentally reduced him to shredded beef immediately after. So I reloaded a save and tried again with a little less enthusiasm this time. On my way to get Myers his pardon, I ran into Oliver, the only man to ever win the lottery, and immediately start sprinting into Rad Scorpion territory like he was cosplaying Regret. I followed him out of morbid curiosity, only to watch him die to Rad Scorpions in a scene that felt like watching a Looney Tunes character get cancelled mid-episode. After this, I reached the Mojave outpost, where I greased Major Knight's palms with enough bribes to get Myers his pardon. Congrats, you're now the sheriff of Prim. Just try not to die before I finish the DLC. So to recap, I freed a hostage, bought a chainsaw, mourned my missing corpses, resurrected a dead man, watched another die for free, and appointed a war criminal as the new sheriff. All in a day's work for Stabby Cunt, wasteland decorator, and local hero. After the mess in Prim, I decided to help Boone solve the mystery of his missing wife.
I got the feeling she was trying to get Boone to leave with. Okay, if that's what you...
Jeannie Mae got aired out by Boone while I stood there smiling like it was a fireworks show. I don't know what was worse, the brains on my jacket or how much I enjoyed it. That Lotus song was right. Dead bodies do make me happy.
This is all I can give. I think our dealings are done here.
After helping Boone redecorate the dino's mouth with Jeannie Mae, I figured it was time to help some ghouls blast off into space, because why not? I cleaned out a rocket facility full of feral skin melters just to send some glowing hobos to crash into the stars, or a mountain. Either way, it's not my problem. I even convinced Chris Haversham, a man so delusional he identifies as a ghoul, to settle down at Novak. I guess if you can't fly with your people, move in next to a giant lizard and pretend you did. At this point, I went and bought the chainsaw. The chainsaw is loud, messy, and completely impractical, just like me. I also bought Gehenna, because what's better than a sword? A sword that sets people on fire while screaming like a teapot full of hate, of course. The NCR wanted some fiends dead, so I showed up with a sword from hell and a chainsaw. I was hired to cater the violence. The next stop was Camp Forlorn Hope. Their supplies were missing, and like any good problem solver, I figured the best way to help was to drag this corpse halfway across the Mojave. Not because I had to, just because I thought it'd be funny. After 20 minutes of bumping elbows with tumbleweeds and praying I wouldn't sneeze and send the body flying into a canyon, I dropped him right off on Quartermaster Myers' table, like a morbid DoorDash delivery.
There aren't any, but something tells me you're not here.
Bro, he is
My men were dead.
literally decomposing on your paperwork.
These supplies will save a few lives here.
Apparently, they don't recognize visual proof.
Check in with the major. I want to know about this.
Maybe next time I'll just bring a PowerPoint presentation called How I Carried This Dead Guy, just for laughs. With Camp Forlorn Hope still ignoring the corpse I gift wrapped for them, I turned my attention to something more productive, setting people on fire. Nelson was crawling with Legion scum, so I did what any sensible person with a flaming sword named Gehenna would do. I lit every single one of them on fire, repeatedly. For justice, of course. and because I wanted to know what charred leggett smells like. Gehenna doesn't just kill your enemies, it makes them crispy. I wasn't liberating Nelson so much as I was deep frying it. The NCR thanked me for my service, probably unaware that I spent half the mission giggling while chasing men around with what amounts to a barbecue fork from hell. And of course, Veronica, this is when she wanted to talk, in the middle of the battle. If you're ever given the chance to solve war crimes with a flaming sword, take it. It's cheaper than therapy and smells like victory. And sizzling Legionnaire. Next up, the NCR asked me to interrogate a Legion prisoner. So naturally, I stood in the corner punching the wall like a meth-crazed mime until they let me in. Once face-to-face with Silus, I accidentally introduced his brain to the spiked knuckles a little too hard. Turns out excessive force is only useful if you don't have to reload right after. The second time around, I found the sweet spot between intimidating war criminal and turning him into paste. Sometimes you need to show restraint, not because it's morally right, but because bloodstains make it harder to reload your save with dignity.
He never reveals anything that would make him vulnerable. My knowledge will not prevent the inevitable. This camp will be ash within months.
Next stop, Vault 3, home of Motor Runner, and a bunch of chem-soaked raiders who decorate like Hot Topic exploded underground. I brought Gehenna, my flaming sword, and turned the place into a DIY crematorium. Motor Runner tried to act tough, but you can't monologue when you're on fire.
Take down this password.
How the hell did you get in here?
Help me out.
Flaming swords, not just for dramatic flair, also surprisingly effective pest control in enclosed spaces. I went and defused the monorail bomb with the same grace I used to file taxes. Blind panic, lucky guesses, and a deep hatred for the system. For a brief moment, I was a hero. Then I remembered I still had a flaming sword and a long list of names. The Deathclaws here didn't expect a guy in leather armor screaming Juggalo lyrics to light him up with a Hellblade. But honestly, neither did I. After getting my NCR Ranger armor, I tried to rescue Ranger Morales' body. I spent 64 stim packs and aged emotionally by 12 years trying to accomplish this. Every time I picked him up, the fiends would blow his corpse out of my hands like some sort of post-apocalyptic volleyball match. Eventually, I gave up, hid for a few days, found him again after the cell resets. So basically, I played the world's saddest game of hide-and-seek with a corpse. The good thing is, he didn't die in vain, but he did die again at least 4 times by my count. While trying to reset that cell, this legionary assassin raped me a little bit, but I don't want to talk about that right now. There's a tweet coming later. I finally secured his corpse. Just by freak accident, they didn't see me. Till the very end. Still counts. Next, I ran the Brotherhood missions to get power armor so I could try and clear out Deathclaw Quarry. As you can see, I had to give her a little nudge to help her
We gave you a password.
let me in.
It's for your safety.
I know where you live, Ramos. Open up.
For Pete's sake. Opening up.
I tried to clear Quarry Junction with a chainsaw and a dream. I left with trauma and a new respect for apex predators. Turns out running a Deathclaw with a knife is technically assisted suicide. I killed Benny with the 2-step goodbye. Step 1, hit him. Step 2, watch him explode like a microwave burrito full of secrets. He told me I'd never see the platinum chip again. Joke's on him, his intact organs were never seen again. It's poetic, really. Benny died doing what he loved, not expecting to get turned into giblets. Now to deal with our house problem. He thought he was untouchable, perched high in his fortress like some mechanical god. I brought the super sledge, and let's just say his shiny metal face didn't stand a chance. No negotiations, no mercy, just a hammer to the dome that crushed his empire and sent his circuits frying. Sometimes the best plan is blunt force trauma.
Why have you... those snakes?
It turns out nothing says fuck your robo-dictatorship like pounding $1 trillion brain into paste with a sledgehammer.
A hell for you.
When the hitman came for Kimball, I brought the thermanic lamp, because nothing says stay the hell away like getting jabbed with a spear hotter than a Vegas sidewalk at high noon. And now it's time for the Battle of Hoover Dam. Now this is less siege and more fiery murder party.
Good luck.
I started inside with a thermanic lance, turning hallways into roasting pits. Of course, my game crashed mid-Slaughterfest. Typical New Vegas. Reloaded. I was off to murder some more. One of my favorite parts of the whole playthrough. Back up top, I swapped a Gehenna and literally burned my way through the dam like it was a bad rave party. Those boomers dropped bombs like they owed me money, clearing half the dam in one single swoop. Next came the Legate's camp, a smelly nest of fanatics. I sliced and diced with Gehenna until I had to break out the chainsaw for a few of these guards. This is the fight we had been training for the whole game. The Legate is a formidable foe. But we are nothing to scoff at.
Come on! You'll pay for that!
Can't stop, won't stop. I need that sweet, sweet blade of the East. Spoiler alert, I never did. Here's where I changed to the chainsaw.
Come on! Come on! Like that? Like that? Like that?
I searched the pile of corpses looking for the Leggett and his blade of the East. I finally had it, but now no chance to use it.
That's a fine bit of work back there. Truth told, I'm surprised you made it out of there in one piece. You and the dam. I'm impressed to say the least, and that's no easy thing. You've secured NCR's future. The administration sends its thanks for what it's worth.
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Good Springs cheated death once again, and the Mojave wasteland was forever changed. The new California Republic celebrated its second victory at Hoover Dam, establishing definitive control over the entire Mojave wasteland. Soon after, they negotiated terms to annex the Strip, Freeside, and many surrounding communities. The Mojave wasteland, at long last, had entirely fallen under the NCR's banner. The courier, fair and even-handed in his dealings throughout the wasteland, was honored by the NCR for his support of the military at Hoover Dam. He was presented with the Golden Branch, the highest civilian decoration given by the Republic.
Though some super mutants in Nightkin continued to journey to the legendary Utopia, they found little trace of its existence. Some eventually found their way to Jacobstown, but many wandered off into the wastes, confused and disheartened.
With the help of the Gunrunners, the Boomers developed a healthy trading relationship with the NCR. Eventually, the Boomers began wandering out into the wasteland while still preventing outsiders from entering Nellis.
The Brotherhood and the NCR in the Mojave wasteland declared an official truce, despite continued hostilities between the two in the west. As per their agreement, the NCR handed over all suits of salvaged power armor, and in return, the Brotherhood helped patrol I-15 and Highway 95.
Their leaders destroyed by the courier, the fiends scattered throughout the wasteland. Without the organization of Motor Runner, Cook, Violet, and Driver Nephi, they were easy prey.
After the NCR's victory at the dam, the followers of the Apocalypse were pushed out of Old Mormon Fort during its occupation by NCR forces. NCR further encouraged them to leave Outer Vegas entirely, and the followers had no choice but to comply.
Good Springs saw more trade along I-15 after NCR gained control of the Mojave wasteland, but with that came a heavy burden of the Republic's taxes. Some old-timers, unable to handle the cost, were forced to move on, grumbling all the while.
After the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, the Great Khans returned for a time to Red Rock Canyon. The NCR's pressing need to expand proved greater than its promise of amnesty, and before long the government decided the Khans had to go. The surviving Great Khans were relocated to an isolated, barren reservation, well north of NCR trade routes.
After the NCR victory at Hoover Dam, The temporary truce between them and the Kings blossomed into a full-scale relief effort for the people. While the NCR made repeated entreaties that Freeside join the Republic, the Kings steadfastly maintained their independence.
Though Novak was a low-priority target for the Legion, many of Novak's citizens died in its defense. In the weeks that followed, several bright followers returned to Novak to help restore its defenses, allowing it to remain independent of NCR.
With the dam firmly in their grasp, the NCR turned its attention towards wresting the correctional facility from Powderganger hands. The Powdergangers are no match for the battle-hardened troops of the NCR, and summary execution awaited the Powdergangers who managed to survive.
Armed with a wide array of improvised explosives and stolen weapons, the Vault 19 Powder Gang tormented the Mojave Wasteland for years. Citizens of the NCR were favorite targets, and they always suffered the worst fates.
After Hoover Dam, Sheriff Myers runs Prim with his own style of frontier justice. He deals with most folks fairly, but now and then someone winds up dead with little to no evidence against them.
And so the Courier's Road came to an end, for now. In the new world of the Mojave Wasteland, fighting continued, blood was spilled, and many lived and died just as they had in the old world. Because war never changes.
The NCR won, which means the Mojave now enjoys the freedom to be taxed, patrolled, and occasionally ignored, just like pre-war America. And so, with nothing but a chainsaw, a dream, and a criminal misunderstanding of stealth mechanics, the Courier carved his legacy into the Mojave. Benny was vaporized, Deathclaws won the moral victory, and Ranger Morales' corpse experienced more airtime than most NCR propaganda. The NCR took Hoover Dam, the Fiends lost their rocket privileges, and I learned that stimpaks are a poor substitute for tactical awareness. Was it worth it? Absolutely not. Would I do it again? Yes. Next time, I'm bringing a bigger knife. And there's one thing this blood-soaked desert taught me. It's that politics are temporary, but chainsaw damage is forever. And we answered the question, can you beat Fallout New Vegas using melee weapons only?
Wrong kid died.